Hello and welcome to this video series on Drupal. Now in this video we're going to be discussing search engine optimization, otherwise known as SEO. And SEO comes in pretty handy whenever people are typing in search queries into their favorite search engine and coming up with results. And of course, if it's in your niche, in for example real estate, you'd really like to be top of the list. Now, as we can see by this particular list for Real Estate 101, it's not going to be very likely that you're going to be number one or even in the first 100 pages, because there's over 1 million results to this particular query, and with your brand new site, it's highly unlikely that you're going to rank very high. Now, of course, I could be wrong. I've been wrong before, but this is the goal that we want to strive for. Is we want to have a good ranking. We want to be as close to the top, or at least on the first page, as possible. And if we can be in the first fold of the first page, like the top 2 or 3, even better. So how we can get there, it's a lot of little baby steps, but no time like the present to get started. Now, of course, this is a very wide spectrum of discussion, and we're by all means not going to cover all the items required or even would come in handy for search engine optimization on our new Drupal site, but we're going to go ahead and touch base on a few of them, a few of the easier ones anyway. And we're going to go ahead and start with the search engine robots. These are the guys, let me just get out of here, these are the guys or gals that pop around all over the internet looking at the new sites and the existing sites and to see what content has changed, and based on that changed content they rank your site in relevancy to other like sites. And of course, if the more relevant your site is to a particular phrase or search query, then the higher you're going to rank on that page I just showed you. So that's why you hear sometimes content is king. Well, it is, for the most part. So the more new content you have, then the more likely the results are going to be in your favor whenever somebody types in a query based on something that you have on your page. For example, somebody types in Real Estate 101 and we've got our page blasted with the phrase Real Estate 101 and a lot of different types of content relating to Real Estate 101, then the likelihood of us ranking higher in that 1 million plus search results is a lot greater. So what we want to do is we want to befriend our robots. In other words, we don't want to confuse the heck out of them. And one quick way that can do that is, for example, as you see here in our URL, we've got the www. Well, if we remove that www, does the same exact site show up, or do we get a 404 error, page not found? Chances are pretty good, unless you've done some tweaking already, that your site's going to show up exactly the same way. Now, this is actually a whole different address. So as it stands right now, this particular site has 2 different locations that have the same content, which is a no-no. These robots are going to be kind of confused. Well, which one do I go to? Which one do I send this person to? And as a result, they're not going to think much about it. They're just going to ban the both of them. So you're not going to get any ranking at all. So we want to minimize this. Now, of course, that could be a little overstated, but we want to minimize this by all means. So what we're going to do is, in this little exercise, we're going to refer one of these to the other one, so that if somebody types in the www, our URL, then they're going to be referred to this particular URL, or vice versa. Either one is fine. I don't think either one has a plus over the other one. We just want to avoid the 2 of them being on the internet at the same time. Okay, so that being said, what we want to do now is we want to head on over to our cPanel or the FTP client of your choice. And we're going to go to the file manager, because what we're going to be looking for is the .ht access file that came with the Drupal installation, the core installation. So here we're going to the public_HTML, and this was renamed from our Drupal install to what it is now. So that's our core installation. So inside of there, let me back up here too. This is our main public_HTML. A lot of times you'll see a .ht access file in there. That's not the one we're looking for, folks. We want the one that came with our Drupal site. That's this guy right here. So we just click on that, And if you do not have cPanel, then you can do the same thing as far as finding this and then just download it to your desktop, open it with a text editor, a notepad or something like that, and then you can make any adjustments that we're about to make and then save it and then upload it back to your server where you got it from. Make sure you upload it to the same place you got it from and just overwrite the existing .htaccess. Now then, we want to edit, not show, we want to edit. They both have the same properties. In other words, you're both going to see them, but in show you're not going to be able to make any changes because you're not going to have the little save doohickey down here at the bottom. Okay, so what we want to do now, and basically what this is doing, the .htaccess, is it gives instructions. A lot of cool stuff in here, but it basically gives instructions to the web server as to what to do, when to do it, how to do it, and there's some other cool information here like this, for example, and you can go ahead and read all this stuff here. This is basically talking about a redirect, and that's what we're going to be accomplishing here via the .htaccess file. Now this first one here refers to if you want your URL to end up with the www, then you want to do this first one. The second one here is if you want to end up without the www. Again, I don't think it makes any difference which one you choose. Just make sure that whichever one you choose that you remain consistent and in future work. So we're going to go with the no www. And I have no reason why, just that's what I'm going to go with. What we need to do is we need to, as it says here, uncomment. And that's what these little pound signs or number symbols or whatever you want to call them, hash marks as they say across the pond. You want to delete these, and that's the uncomment that they're referring to here. So we'll just highlight it, delete it, highlight it, delete it. And where these guys are, I don't think makes any difference. But what we want to do now is we want to get rid of the example and put in your own URL. So in our case, this is our home page. So we want to copy. Wait a minute, where are we at here? And come on over here to this. Highlight everything in here, including the /, and paste. Okay. So this is where we want it to end up at. Now I know that this is not, well, just bear with me. And since this is in a subdirectory or a subfolder, oh yeah, we want to do this one here too. But that one is just this, in my case, the PMNU. Copy. And paste. And down here, as it says here, if you do not have this installed on your main URL or your main domain name, in other words, we do not, we've got it on a subdomain, then we want to uncomment, that's this stuff down here, we want to uncomment this line right here and modify accordingly. So let's go ahead and get rid of this. And what do we have here? Real Estate 101. Highlight, copy, highlight, paste, and I forgot to put the /. Now I don't remember if that's going to be necessary or not. We shall soon find out. But so we've got these two uncommented. We've got this uncommented. And if you're running a virtual document route, then of course do as that says. And I think that's pretty much it. Now it never really hurts to go ahead and get a copy of all this stuff here before you make any changes, and then put it on your desktop somewhere so that you can always refer back to it in case something really starts blowing up. You can always just overwrite it with the original. So that's the worst case scenario. You just end up where you began. But I feel a little daring today, so we're going to go without running the copy. Let's go ahead and click on save, and we'll just leave that there just in case. Now then, let's come on back here, and this is what we want to end up with. So if we put in the www, it should automatically redirect back to the no www. So let's give it a shot. /, see what happens. And there we have it. So if somebody puts in the www, then automatically is going to redirect here to the no www. So now we've only got one URL from now on. So when the robots go there, they're going to come here. So if the robots go here, they're going to be here. So in either case, the robots are no longer confused about our URL. Case closed. So we can go ahead and, since that worked out just as planned, I never had a doubt. Yeah, right. But we can go ahead and close all this out. And another thing that, in case you're kind of checking out these videos out of order, another thing that can really help out with your Drupal site as far as the relevancy and especially helping out with these robots, it's to have the clean URLs module enabled. And let's go ahead and head over to Administer, Site Build, Modules, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. Under Modules, and what we're looking for here is or is it in site configuration? Yes, because it's not a module any longer. That was prior to version 6. It is here in clean URLs. And it comes defaulted disabled. Why? I don't know. But what this does is this takes the nodes, if you will. I'm sorry, no, that's something else too. That's the paths module. I'm getting my apples and oranges mixed up. What this does is this takes the question mark Q equals out of the URL up here and replaces it with the actual URL, the words itself, which makes it a little more search engine friendly. So I'm guessing that probably in version 7 or a later version of 6.2, which is the one that we're in right now, of Drupal, will have this as mandatory. I really right now cannot see a reason for having this disabled, but I'm sure that somebody that created this site or this particular part of Drupal has a reason for it. Again, I don't know what it is, but what you can do though is if you have not, and again this is under site configuration, clean URLs, if you have not come here and enabled this, then do so. And you can tell if you haven't because up here in the URL at the end of your URL is going to have the question mark Q. So to get rid of that and to make sure that the search engines can see this and read this a little bit better, then that's going to be a big plus for you. Go ahead and take care of that. The one thing that I was talking about and I got confused on is under site building modules is the paths module, P-A-T-H. And come on down here, where we at? Right here. Now with this allows you to rename the URLs from what the default of a whatever node /5, for example, to an actual word or words or phrase. Let me show you what I'm talking about here. Let's go and check out some content. And I'll just do a story here. And just test vocabularies. Yeah, I'm not going to worry about it. Menu settings. Not going to worry about that either. For the sake of this example, this is what I'm talking about right here under the URL paths setting. If that paths module was not enabled or not there, then this would not show up. But what we can do here is we can put in an actual word. In this case, we might put in test, for example, because that has some relation to the body and to the title of our story. So if the title was, say, real estate buyers, then we have something in here in the body. If you're a real estate buyer, then down here we'd put in real estate buyer, real estate underscore or hyphen buyer. And that way we've got 3 items on that particular page that are going to be search engine friendly. The URL, the body, and the title. So let's check one other thing out too. I want to show you to kind of confirm all this. What I want to do now is we want to head over to site building under administer. And under site building we want URL aliases. And everywhere we had changed the path, for example in there about us or buying first home, this was the original URL. Up here at the top it would have, for example, admin/node/21, when in fact that would get to the same place as this. But search engines would recognize this a lot better and think this to be more relevant to a search phrase in Real Estate 101 about us, or Real Estate 101 buying first home. And buying first home being up here in the URL, as well as the title of that article, as well as within the body of that article, you can see the relevance of that particular page to the search engine, and the likelihood of that particular page ranking a lot higher than other less relevant pages on somebody else's site is a lot greater. So again, another way in which Drupal has really tweaked things to make it easier for you to have a search engine optimized website, not just a page but the entire website's like that. Now the last item that we're going to cover in our little SEO video here is going to be regarding the robots.txt file that started coming along with the core Drupal system. I think it was back with version 5. So prior to version 5 you may not have this, and if you do you may have had to create it yourself. But let's head on back over to the cPanel, and again you can do the same thing through your FTP client if you don't have cPanel. But what we want to do is we want to go into our core Drupal folder, and that being right here, and we're looking for the robots.txt. Right here we are, and just click on that, come over here, and one other thing too I want to mention is over here, this is the permissions for each one of these files, and you want to have right permissions. So if while you're making a change on one of these files and you find that it isn't taken, you get an error message or fatal error, whatever they call it, pretty scary, then what you want to do is you want to come over here and just take a look at that, and it needs to be either 644, it's got to have a 6 in there somewhere, because 6 is telling you that it's right. If it's 666, scary number, but still it means that you can write. Well, let me just show you. You go over here to change permissions. And some FTP clients allow you to do that as well. You just right click on the file, and usually down at the bottom of the drop down list will be something like chmod or chmod. That's where you can change the mod or modular. Anyway, as you can see here, one of them is a 6, and if all of these were 6s, that'd be fine too, but you definitely, and I repeat, definitely do not want to leave them that way. After you've done your changes, make sure they go back to whatever the original was, because you do not want the world to have write or execute permissions unless you've got some off-the-wall reason to do so. So again, just wanted a little introduction there to the permissions part here. So let's go ahead and get out of here, and I want to show you the file. And this tells basically those robots I've mentioned what they can do, or more to the point what they cannot do, because they're going to go through every page on your site, which is kind of a good thing, but not always, because there's some pages that they don't have any reason to be poking around in. And the reason why, the main reason why anyway, is that some studies have shown that what they call double content or duplicate content is a penalty waiting to happen, and you don't want these robots to report back home saying that, hey, these guys got a bunch of double duplicate content, and we don't want to confuse our customers being the people doing the searching, so we're just going to have to ban them, and you don't want that. So here are a couple of the disallows, which basically tells the robots you're not allowed here on this page. You're not allowed here on this page. But this one, this particular robots.txt file can be adjusted because there's a couple of minor mistakes on here, and maybe mistakes is being rough, but there's some adjustments that can be made that will do you better. And without going into great detail, I'm going to refer you to a page that has all those adjustments already made right here. And this is from somebody that's taken the time to actually do some research, and they're a little more up on the search engine optimization of using the robots.txt and the Drupal site. So you might want to check this out. And what you could do is you could just copy this entire page and just replace this page with this one. Now, before you do that, there's another site I want you to go to, and that would be right here, DrupalZilla. This guy knows his stuff. That's where he got that one file from. And right here gives you a whole list of the changes that were made and the reasons why. And then there's some write-ups down here at the bottom as to the explanation of different sections of that page. So you might want to check this out. It's definitely worth a look-see. And what you could do is you could just, like I had mentioned earlier, get a copy of the original robots.txt, save that somewhere in a folder on your desktop, so if the old crapola hits the fan and the changes that you made here turns out to be bad, well, you've always got the original to fall back on. No harm, no foul. So that's pretty much it on our little SEO class today in getting our Drupal site optimized for all the search engines to come searching. Thank you very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you learned something. Have a great day.